world turning. Turn it up, select, don't you turn it down. Just keep the fire keep burning. Play reggae music with the sweet sound of WEFM. Got the whole world turning. Turn it up, select, don't you turn it down. If you're keeping a party and you want it for your send for the hot girls with a tall or short. It would be so unkind. Hey, you are in a 5-star hotel, chilling with a rock star, lying in this bed with another man when you should be home instead. Room service order and champagne sipping, love making, damn we tripping. I know you're hoping the man will never know, but remember the walls know your secrets. Your secrets. Okay. The walls know your secrets. Your secrets. Now baby don't worry, cause I don't kiss and tell. Yeah, my secrets as well. Just remember these four walls, they know your secrets.
Peter Morgan doing one called Secrets. It's 12:15 here in SVG and across the Eastern Caribbean. It's now time for us to bring to you WEFM's Midday News, coming to you with the kind compliments of Courts and Vincent Limited. And today's Midday News will be presented by WEFM's senior news editor, Mr. Rajiv Providence. Stay tuned.
No time, girlfriend. No one will ever know.
Turn up your radio to the clean first sound of WEFM 99.9.
99.9, the heart and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. WEFM is SVG.
Bringing you the news 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, with a fresh approach. www.999wefm.com. WEFM News, online, on demand.
Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts and Vincent Limited.
Switch to a ready cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service, so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts and Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene. The Miss SVG pageant this year promises to be even more entertaining than last year's production. This is according to a member of the Beauty Shows Committee and Government Senator, the Honorable Shakil Bob, who gave the assurance that the committee is doing their part in ensuring that the pageant is kept in line with international, regional standards. She encouraged attendees to be at the event on time to get the most of this year's pageant. We'll hear more from Senator Bob.
I must say that this year's Miss SVG production would be a spectacular one, even more entertaining than the one we had last year, and we had a great turnout last year. We are therefore expecting a bigger and better production. Therefore, we don't want you to miss it. You need to come out to see the new additions we have to our production. We are trying to keep the pageant in line with international and regional standards, and we have something special in store for you, but you have to be there early in order to see what we have in store for you. So remember to come out for the red carpet event. Come out for 8 p.m. when the show starts, because you have to be there at the beginning to see the packages we have prepared.
That was member of the Beauty Shows Committee and Government Senator, the Honorable Shakil Bob. The 2023 edition of the Miss SVG pageant will see 9 contestants vying for the crown and will take place on Saturday, October 7th, 2023, with a red carpet event at 7 p.m. and showtime at 8 p.m. 35 farmers and backyard gardeners from the island of Bequia recently participated in soil management and crop establishment training. Thursday, September 14th, saw the group of persons, including women and young persons, gathered at Ms. Jasmine Pollard's backyard holding for training titled Introduction to Soil Management and Crop Establishment. According to a news release from the Ministry of Agriculture, Agricultural Extension Officer for the Grenadines Islands in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Alan Williams, along with staff members Mr. Ashley Castillo and Mr. Jeffrey Richards, facilitated the training session. Participants were also briefly introduced to the importance of soil and its composition and were presented with vegetable seedlings at the end of the session. Mr. Williams explained that the objectives were to raise the awareness of the farming public in Bequia of the availability of mechanical land preparation service and to train local operators in the operation of the machinery. Still on the local scene, the concern for the alienation of certain sections of Vincentian society as a result of the digitization of the nation's economy is misplaced. This is the belief of Invest SVG's chairman of the board, Anthony Regisford, during the Everything Vinci Plus Expo media briefing this week. Mr. Regisford, during his address, used the adoption of cell phones locally as an example of why certain parts of society should not be underestimated when thinking of advancement. We hear more from Invest SVG's chairman of the board.
This excuse that we use, that we run the risk of alienating people if we move too aggressively to these digital platforms, I don't buy it. What's the penetration of smartphones? You know, Cable and Wireless made a huge mistake when smartphones just came into being. Not smartphones, cell phones. They made the assumption that cell phones was a luxury item. And so they targeted a particular bracket of, people. And in came Digicel and proved them wrong. Momentum was gained at the grassroots.
Mr. Regisford said that there is a risk of that mistake being repeated by thinking that persons at the grassroots will not be adopters of digitization. He called on all not to make this mistake when it comes to the adoption, noting that those at the grassroots might actually be more likely to adopt the new standard.
We're going to make the mistake to think that people will never use digital money. They will never accept payment by phone. A market vendor will never do that. They're the ones who are going to do it. Trust me. They're the ones who are going to do it before lanes and careers. And I'm not putting lanes and careers in any bad light. I'm just saying, let's not make that mistake. Let us not make these assumptions that going digital is a barrier because we run the risk of alienating people who don't have access. Everybody has access. Everybody has a smartphone.
That was Invest SVG's chairman of the board, Anthony Regisford. He also emphasized the importance of the digital transactions in relation to the upcoming Everything Vinci Plus Expo, saying this digitization will make for much smoother trade at events such as this. On to news in the region. Guyana's Ministry of Education is moving to address the rising rate of violence in the nation's schools. The Education Ministry said that schools should be a safe environment for students to learn and that it will not tolerate violence and indiscipline. These comments from the ministry came following the circulation of 2 viral videos of children fighting at the New Campbellville secondary schools. According to Loop News, in the first incident, which occurred on September 9, 2023, a female student was seen being attacked by a classmate. On September 15th, a male student was recorded kicking and stomping another boy in the head. Guyana's Ministry of Education said that it investigated both incidents and engaged both the students and their parents. Engine troubles have resulted in a plane crashing off the coast of Nevis. This was confirmed by St. Kitts and Nevis's emergency services. The crashed aircraft is a single-engine Piper. The plane, which departed from Antigua and was en route to St. Martin, reportedly encountered engine trouble mid-flight, Loop News reports. The pilot is said to have initiated an emergency landing procedure at Vance Armory International Airport. However, the aircraft ultimately plunged into the sea near Herbert's Beach. The plane's occupants, consisting of the pilot from St. Martin and his Anguillan student pilot, reportedly sustained only minor injuries. They reportedly managed to escape the stricken aircraft and swam ashore. Both individuals received medical treatment in Nevis. Authorities have launched an investigation into the incident to determine the cause of the engine trouble and the circumstances surrounding the emergency landing. On the international scene, 49 people have been arrested in Ghana as they protested high cost of living in the West African country. The arrest took place in Ghana's capital, Accra, on Thursday as protesters tried to storm Jubilee House, the seat of government. Ghanaian police, according to eyewitnesses, physically assaulted the protesters who had gathered in their red and black attires to show anger over hardship in the West African country, Al Jazeera reports. The protest was organized by Democracy Hub, a governance advocacy group which condemned the use of brute force to thwart a peaceful protest, according to a statement issued on Thursday. Police spokesperson Juliana Obeng did not comment on the abuse but said they were picked up in connection with an unlawful assembly, citing a last-minute court process by the police to stop the planned demonstration. Finally, in sports, Jason Roy has turned down a call-up to play for England in its one-day series against Ireland. This has led to Tom Kohler-Cadmore being called up instead. 29-year-old Kohler-Cadmore replaces Joe Root, who will rest for the last two matches against Ireland before the World Cup. Opener Jason Roy was dropped from the World Cup squad in favor of Harry Brook. He could yet be asked to be a reserve for the World Cup squad, with a decision on that yet to be made. Roy, 33, was a member of the England squad that won the World Cup in 2019. This has been WeFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WeFM's 3 p.m. News. WeFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Vivid by Kurtz Optical. Schedule your free eye exam today and get up to 50% off credit purchases. You heard right. Up to 50% off select credit purchases or 25% off cash purchases. What are you waiting for? Buy that frame today with no cash and pay later. Book your appointment online today at kurtzoptical.com. Live vivid. See vivid. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see.
And of course, you've been listening to WeFM's Midday Newscast. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Of course, the Midday News came to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent.